Madan Mohan Malviya, who created this Benares Hindu University, he came to see Srila Bhaktisiddhanta, one of his temples. So we would think of a person of such stature, he would be attended to immediately. And Bhaktisiddhanta said, I'm busy right now. You just sit with those boys in the temple room that are polishing the grass, and I will meet you in a few minutes. So he sat down in the temple room, and after some time he went to Bhaktisiddhanta. He said, I'm still busy, you come after some time, you sit with those boys. So he's sitting there, so nothing to do. He began to help them polish the grass. Big man like this, he was doing simple service, polishing the grass. So the third time he went to Bhaktisiddhanta. Bhaktisiddhanta says, what is your question? He says, now I have no question. I have received all the answers I need. So we ask questions and then we serve the spiritual master out of gratitude. He's giving us knowledge to free us from the material. So by service, then everything is revealed. So this is the process. Although Krishna says that he's unknowable, we can know him by this process, by his mercy. So, and specifically in this dark age of Kali, the service has been given at the tongue. The tongue has two businesses. One is speaking, one is tasting. So all day long, tongue talking about so many things. You listen to your tongue all day long, talking so many useless things. You just utilize the tongue to talk about Krishna. You talk about the philosophy of Krishna, you talk about Krishna's pastimes, and you talk about Krishna's service. Three types of Harikatha are there. Just like if we're in the kitchen and we say, pass the pot, please. That sounds like a material thing, but I need that pot for Krishna's service. And so that is also it is not material, it's spiritual. So that service, then Srimad Bhagavatam is about Krishna, and Bhagavad Gita is spoken by Krishna. These three types are there. And slowly, everything will be revealed to us. So this basic thing is this tongue. Ataksi Krishna Nama Dina Bhavedraya Indriya. So Krishna's name, form, pastime, not grayam indriya. They cannot be captured by the senses. Seva mukhi jiva though, but by engaging this tongue, jiva, in seva, what is that seva? Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama, Hare. Swayameva Spratyana. Krishna reveals himself. So we just, very simple seva in this Gaur Kali Yuga where we're so unfortunate and misguided and so many problems are there. But simply by this chanting of Hare Krishna, everything will be revealed. Simple. We have to engage this tongue. So that is one way of engaging the tongue. The tongue wants to taste. So that we taste nice puris and paneer sabji and samosas and kachoris, but only after they've been offered first to Krishna. By engaging these two services, first chanting and tasting Krishna's prasadam, then swayameva spratyana, everything will be revealed. So I don't see any clock in this. I know what time it is. 8:40. 8:40. 48. Okay, so we can leave some time if anybody has any questions or they would like to ask. I'll try and answer them. Yes. Your microphone, Prabhu.
Hare Krishna. First and foremost, I would like to thank because last month around Gopashtami I was there at Vrindavan, so you gave a meeting class on Gopashtami about Krishna's pastime.
Yes.
So it was very, very nectarine. And I just wanted to ask that initial days that all of you were so young. So what happened that you found in Srila Prabhupada that this to dedicated whole life and in the beginning how the movement was like?
We found that Prabhupada not only spoke something, but he did the same thing. All our teachers, our parents, all our seniors, they all told us, don't smoke and don't drink. And they were all smoking and drinking. Just like I had I knew one person, and he was a policeman. And he came home and his son was lying in the bed, he had the TV blaring, he was smoking cigarette, a little, 7 or 8 year old son. And so his mother came and said, what are you doing? So I'm being a daddy. So that's what dad lies in the bed, watch the TV and smoke. So all our teachers, they told us don't smoke and don't drink, and they're all smoking and drinking, so what we'll do? But Prabhupada told us what to do, and he did it himself. This was the first thing. We had lost faith in all our authorities because they all told us so many things, but they were doing the opposite thing. But Prabhupada was saying it and doing it. The second thing is we already had all mature facilities, but we realized that our hearts are empty. We're frustrated. So when Prabhupada revealed to us that we're not this body, that you can do everything with this body, just like in Bhagavad Gita, Prabhupada gives an example that just like you have a bird in a bird cage, you can make the bird cage out of silver. You can make the bird cage out of gold. Just imagine at today's prices. You put a nice bodycon carpet, beautiful TV set, so many things, but bird will not be happy because you have to give some food to the bird. The same way, this body is like a cage. We can do everything for this body, but this soul, he's like a little bird sitting in this cage. Unless you give some food to that bird, how will it be happy? And we saw that simply by chanting Hare Krishna, we found some type of amazing happiness. We can't explain where it's coming from. We just somehow, by chanting, because chanting is not different from Krishna himself, and Krishna is all bliss. Satchidananda. Just like Narad Muni, he asked the Lord one time that, where do you stay? And Lord said, Naham basami Vaikunte, yoginam hridaye subha, yatra madbhakta gayanti tatra tistami dharana. So he said, Naham basami Vaikunte. This is very surprising. Vaikuntha is Lord's abode. He's saying he's not there. So where did he go? Kirir chala gaye Bhagavan? Naham basami Vaikunte, yoginam hridaye subha. I'm not in the heart of the yogis. Yogis performing great penance austerities, sitting for hundreds of years in meditation, trying to see just the ray from the toenail of the Supreme Person of Godhead, and they can't see that even. Yogi Nam, I'm not there in the yogis' heart. Yatra Mad Bhakta Gayanti, where my devotees are chanting, Tatra Tistami, there I go and stay. So this holy name is so powerful. Krishna has left his home, he's left the yogis, he only goes where the devotees are chanting. So by chanting Hare Krishna, of course tasting prasadam, so like Prabhu used to say, this gulab jamun, this is iskcon goli. We all became devotees. Any other question? Yes. Here comes Bhakta Mike. Son.
Can you share some interactions with Prabhupada?
Well, my first real interaction with Prabhupada, I'll tell that. Because I joined in Boulder, Colorado, in the middle of, somewhat in the middle of the United States. But Prabhupada was there in LA. So the devotee sent me to LA to get initiated. So at that time it was the old temple, and now the temple in Watseka, they have a place where Prabhupada lived inside the temple compound, a building. But in the old La Cienega temple, there was no place for Prabhupada to stay. He lived nearby. So they would drive him in the morning, he'd come for darshan arti and kirtan, and then he'd give Bhagavatam class, and after Bhagavatam class there was always kirtan. We don't do that anymore, but he always after Bhagavatam class, he did Nam Sankirtan, and then he'd go home. So we arrived afternoon, so we weren't going to see Prabhupada till the next morning. But in LA, those days, on Saturday nights especially, because it was Saturday night, then we went to Hollywood Boulevard. You all know Hollywood, huh? We used to go to Hollywood Boulevard and have Sankirtan all the way till midnight, 1 o'clock. Because those days, when I joined, there was no such thing as Mangalarti. Maybe for the pujaris, but not for us. It was later, after next year, then Prabhupada instituted that you must attend Mangalarti. So we used to stay out to midnight chanting on Hollywood Boulevard. And we used to chant in front of one restaurant because the sidewalk was very wide in front of one restaurant called Diamond Gym. And we won't describe what they were serving there. You can just imagine. You shouldn't imagine, actually. So, but the sidewalk was wide there, so people could walk and we could chant and people could stand on the other side and watch. So, and we had one devotee named Vishnu Jan who was chanting, Prabhupada said he will chant his way back to Goloka. His chanting was so ecstatic. Prabhupada loved his chanting. And he had us all in a semicircle like this. He said, just like Krishna's eye. And we were all with our backs to the street, facing the building. And he would stand at the very end, so he's looking down. You can see street, you can see the sidewalk both. And we even had a Hollywood melody. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Then we had part B also. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. And he used to chant very fast. He said, we don't want any gaps for Maya to enter. So we were chanting very fast, our Hollywood melody, and all of a sudden Vishnu Jan's eyes got bigger, like saucers, and he said, Prabhupada, and he fell down on the sidewalk. Now we didn't see anything in front of us that would make him do like that, so something must have happened behind us. So we turned around, and when I told the story in Vrindavan one time, Gargamuni told him, yes, that particular night, Prabhupada told me to take him in a car to Hollywood Boulevard so he could see how his disciples were pushing on the Sankirtan movement of Lord Chaitanya, even in this horrible place called Hollywood. So Prabhupada we saw him in the window of his car, and he had his hand in his bead bag, but Prabhupada was making pranams to us. And you don't want to know about us. We crashed Yamaraj's hard drive, keeping track of our symbol activity. We felt totally embarrassed that Prabhupada was making pranams. We just wanted to peel up the sidewalk and crawl underneath and hide. We felt embarrassed. So we couldn't do that, so we just hit the street also. But we saw Prabhupada was so grateful. He's so kind and grateful that we were pushing on Lord Chaitanya's Sankirtan mission, even in this horrible place. So Prabhupada was making pranams to us. So that was my first interaction. Yes?
So what to do if someone is not able to give up certain bodily urges or certain habits, which again and again attacks. And we know that it is detrimental to our Krishna consciousness, but it attacks again and again. We are not able to give it up. And sometimes, like outside people, they say that no, it's biological, it's natural, so it's okay. But we know that it's detrimental, and we're not able to give it up. What to do with it?
Well, this is the same question Arjuna asked. How to control this mind. And Krishna gives example in Gita that desires are like rivers flowing into the ocean. We have any river here in Bengaluru? Kaveri rivers here? That's it. Okay, there's some river here. So anyway, so many rivers are flowing in the ocean, but he's not disturbed. It's not that the rivers are flowing in and he's becoming bigger and bigger. He doesn't increase. He's not disturbed because he's full. So we have to fill our hearts with Krishna consciousness. Then desires will never stop. Prabhupada said desire means you're alive. He said to become desireless means to become a dead stone. If to understand God is to become a dead stone, then Prabhupada said, I do not want to know what is God. We have to become full with Krishna consciousness. And even though desires will never stop, but we become full of Krishna consciousness. We have to keep practicing. Just like when I was a child, I used to cut up all of my father's National Geographic magazines for my school projects. When I grew up, then I understood how much it must have hurt him to see me cutting up all his magazines like that, but he saw that I was learning something, so he tolerated it. Anyway, one time there was an article, this is 60 years ago, about the elephants in India, how they used them in the railways. They would push the cars, they would load logs onto the cars and push the cars and do so many things. And they said what they would do is they would catch a small elephant, and then they would put a chain on his leg and a great big post in the ground, bam, 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 bam. And he would run around and around and around and around, and till his wrists became bloody. And he came to the conclusion that when they put this thing on my wrist, I can't do anything about it. Now he's a big elephant. He's lifting whole trees onto the car, and they put a little peg in the ground, ting, 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 put this thing on his foot, and he stands there. Because he gave up trying. Sometimes, just like if there's a fire, then suddenly he'll just rip that thing out of the ground and run. Because actually all the time, he was growing and growing and growing. He could have done it any time. Somehow some emergency came and boom. So same way, as long as we're chanting, associating with devotees, hearing Srimad Bhagavatam, we're growing in Krishna consciousness. But if we stop trying, then we just stay there. All the time you're growing in Krishna consciousness. You keep trying, don't give up. Keep trying. One day you'll take that peg of lust and throw it far away and run back to home, back to God. Don't give up. Krishna told Arjuna, Abhyas. Arjuna, it's easier to control the wind than to control the mind. Anybody can control the wind. How will control the mind? He said, Abhyas. Abhyas and vairagya, follow by practice and detachment. So we shouldn't give up. Just like a child, we should take example from the child. Walking is a natural thing. We're all walking, we don't even think about it. We don't walk down. Whoa. That's when we were little. Now we walk around, we run, we don't even think about it. But one time we had to learn, and we were learning, we fall, hit our head on the edge of the table, and a big, in America we call it a big egg will come in your head. But still after 2 minutes, he's again trying to walk. He's very determined. After a while, he's running around, making his mother completely crazy. So Krishna consciousness is a natural thing. Just like walking is a natural thing. We don't even think about it anymore. Krishna consciousness is a natural thing. You just keep trying, you keep trying. Just like that child. No matter how many times he falls on the floor and hits his nose, and 2 minutes later, he's again trying to walk. He hits his head on the table, again 5 minutes later, he's again trying. So we take determination from the child. Just keep trying. Just like one time we were on the beach walking, and one young boy was there, had heard that Prabhupada was in LA, so he came to LA, and we invited him to come on the, because he lived in a place where there was no temple, but he was reading the books, and we sent him japa beads and everything, so we said, oh, Prabhupada's coming, you should come. So he came, and we were walking on the beach in Venice Beach near LA Temple. And he said, oh, that was a different one. That's a different story. Okay. We went on a morning walk with Prabhupada, and that day, Dr. Stilson Judah came. He was he was the head of the religious department theological department of Berkeley University. Everybody's heard of Berkeley. But he loved Prabhupada very much, and he wrote many books on Krishna conscious movement. So he heard that Prabhupada was LA, so he came, and we were walking on Venice Beach, and he said, Prabhupada, what do we do about the problem of lust? And Prabhupada turned and dug his cane into the ground, into the sand, and he said, unless you become Krishna conscious, there's no solution. And he took a few more steps, and he turned again, he said, unless you become Krishna conscious, there's no solution. Like I said, we have to fill ourselves with Krishna consciousness, that even though the desires are flowing and flowing and flowing, we become so full of Krishna consciousness, we don't care for them anymore. So there's another questions. We can fall down at the very soft and wonderful lotus feet of the great personality who's given us this wonderful process of Krishna consciousness. To the Prabhupada ki jai. Also, if anyone's interested, we have some copies of our book, Braj Leela Part 2, that we just improved and expanded and improved it even more. Just a few months ago we reprinted, so we have copies with us. And only asking a small donation of 400 rupees if anybody wants to take a copy. And it's also got many nice, beautiful paintings inside. And the way I talk, that's the way the book is. It's not formal writing. And we can also accept online payments also. So if anybody wants to get a copy, and then I'm here also to sign it. Hare Krishna. Srila Prabhupada ki jai.
Hare Krishna.